everyone. Welcome to Yoga with Joan Bossy. I'm Joan and this is Yoda. We're going to get started with some Yin Yoga today. So what you'll need is a bolster or a couch cushion or a couple pillows. This is a Gayam yoga bolster I bought on Amazon. I love it. It's firm, but it's also soft enough to use in the holding of the positions in Yin Yoga. You could also just use a couple blankets instead of a bolster, or a pillow like what Yoda is laying on here, or a couple pillows, depending on how much support you need in the position. So in the different positions in Yin Yoga, you want to find some positions that allow you to let go of your muscles and go into a slow release of the fascia or the connective tissue. And we'll talk about that as we go. So let's get started. We'll come to a comfortable seated position on the mat. And let your arms drape over your knees, closing your eyes or a soft gaze down. Take a deep, long breath in, filling the lungs up almost to capacity. And let it go. So second time, long, deep breath in through the nose. And a long, deep breath out through the mouth. Doing this one more time, inhaling through the nose. And exhaling through the mouth. And then allowing your breath to return to normal. Breathing in and out of the nose if you're not congested. Long line of energy from the crown of your head to the bottom of your spine. Head reaching up towards the ceiling. Heart gently lifted. Chin is level. May your yoga practice today help you to let go and rest deeply. Taking a few more breaths here. And then allowing the eyes to float open if they were closed. Bringing the arms out to the side, inhaling them up. Reaching out of the waist, exhaling the hands to the heart. Inhaling the arms up again. And exhaling down. Hands can come to the sides as we let the left leg come out long. Right leg pulls in. I'll mirror you. Inhaling your arms up. And exhaling out. Flexing the front foot. Releasing the body down. Long line of energy from the crown of the head to the bottom of the spine as you breathe here. One more full breath, leading with the chest. And then gently coming back towards that body, sending the opposite leg out, other leg comes in, finding yourself grounded down on the mat as we inhale up. Flexing that front foot as we fold over, exhale. Any amount of folding over is perfect. Remember that you don't have to grab your foot or your ankle or even your shin. Just leaning forward is enough, as long as you feel the stretch. Maybe dropping the head, as long as the spine stays nice and long. One more breath here. And gently walking your hands back towards your body. Bringing the legs, soles of the feet together. Heels can be close to the body or a little farther away. So we take a gentle stretch here. Inhaling. And exhaling forward. Again, any amount, as long as you feel the stretch in your lower spine or your back, wherever you feel it is perfect. Last inhale. And then gently rolling back up. Beautiful. So we just took a couple breaths and a few stretches before we begin in our first pose, in supported fish pose. So you're going to take your bolster and bring it out for yourself. We're going to be laying down on it. Or take your blankets or your pillows and prop yourself up, sending your body over, letting your lower back be close to the bolster. As you gently lay back down, allowing your back to come in contact with the pillow, letting the chest lift here. So finding if this is enough support for you, and then allowing the arms to just come out to the sides, and sending the legs out long, or you can gently let them be apart a little bit. And the last option is bringing the soles of the feet together. If that feels good, the heels can be farther from the body or closer, depending on how that feels. So take your choice for your legs and gently feel for a cushion or a block, because if you are in butterfly and your legs are gently, maybe this is too much for your thighs here, as you open up your hips, you can gently put a block on your, or a book or a cushion on your knee, underneath your knees. So once your body is set up and you feel good, we're gonna settle in for this pose for our 3 minutes. And I'm finding that this bolster is the perfect type for me because I feel my edge, a moderate to mild stretch. And I can settle into stillness here. And I allow myself to continue breathing evenly through this pose. Letting my face relax, the space between my eyebrows. And as you get feedback from your body, you can apply cushions if you need them, or lower yourself down further, taking a blanket away or adding a blanket, finding if this works for you. So, like I said, this position works for me. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to settle into stillness. And we're going to hold this pose for 2 more minutes. Breathing in and out of the nose if you're not stuffed up today. Letting the tongue fall back in the mouth. Jaws relaxed. Letting my connective and my fascia tissue stretch gently, letting my muscles go. Taking 4 more breaths here. And then allowing your eyes to open up, sending your feet together and your knees in if your legs are out long. Rolling over to one side gently, pushing yourself up, remembering to move very slowly between poses. Our next pose is going to be supported child's pose. But before we go into that, just going to take a nice little stretch up, inhale up, and exhale forward. Any amount, letting the head drop. And slowly coming back up. Beautiful. And you might want to stretch the legs out, letting the knees go up and down a little bit. Shaking the legs out. But again, moving very slowly as we get ready for our next position. So taking the soles of the feet together, knees nice and wide, or a little bit closer together, depending on where you want to be. We'll come in, sitting back on our heels in child's pose, and maybe your thighs don't come all the way down, and that is fine. You can put a blanket here if that feels good, or you can just grab your bolster, draw it into you. Now I've tried this before, so I know in child's pose I can go a little deeper, so I don't need the height here with the blanket. So I'm going to take that off, but you try and see what you need. So I'm going to come forward, letting my chest rest on my cushion, letting my hips sink back into child's pose. I'm going to bring my knees together a little bit more, and then maybe putting my arms under my cushion or alongside it. Allowing my head to drop down onto the bolster, maybe making a little pillow with my hands, or letting my head come into the bolster. Now, as I do this, I'm noticing a little bit of tension in my lower back, a little bit of too much of a stretch, so I'm going to add a little bit of height here. And you can adjust as needed. And then I'm going to gently come down, finding my supported child's pose. So again, adjusting to what you need as you go about this practice, taking feedback from your body, really learning to tune into it, to see what you do need. So once you're settled in, you're going to let your breath begin to relax and deepen a little bit. I'm actually going to use a block for my forehead because that feels good. So you'll notice that once you find where you need to be, your breath begins to relax and deepen. And it might take a little bit to find exactly what you need. And that's okay. That's what this practice is for. So
The other principle of Yin Yoga is to hold for your extended period of time. So continue to breathe here and let yourself go, noticing a mild to moderate stretch somewhere on your back, lower back, hips. As you sink into stillness, sending the breath into your belly. And allow yourself to stay in this position anywhere between 2 and 8 minutes. Breathing into your back as well as your belly. Letting the head grow heavy. Feeling the earth supporting you. And take 5 more breaths here. And if you need more, feel free to pause the video and stay here. And when you're ready, begin to push into your arms and hands. To begin to slowly, ever so slowly, raise your head, coming out of supported child's pose. Coming to your hands and knees. Turning the toes under, sending the hips up into a downward dog. Letting the head hang down low. Bending one knee and then the other. Stretching out your calf muscles. Taking another breath here in downward dog. And maybe your downward dog, the knees are very bent. That's perfect. Whatever works for your body. And then letting your knees come back down. We'll remove our bolster and get ready for our supported one knee in pose. So we're going to take the block. We're going to gently allow it to come underneath our tailbone. And again, you can use a cushion or you could use a bolster, which I have here, or a firmer cushion. Allowing one leg to go long. Just relax it down. Sending the other knee in towards your body. And you can flex that foot if you like, or just let it go limp. Wrapping your hands gently around your leg as you gently hold it, your knee gently in place. Not using a lot of muscle strength on your arms. As your knee is drawn in towards your body, and you begin to breathe here. In and out of the nose, coming into this Yin Yoga pose, a reverse or upside down dragon pose. Letting your back gently settle in, sinking into the mat. Let your skull grow heavy. Letting your long leg relax down. Releasing the muscles on your arms as best as possible. As you continue to breathe evenly, sending the breath down into the body on the inhale. And exhaling through the nose. Allowing the lips to gently part. Tongue falling back in the mouth. Space between the eyes relaxes. Letting this gentle stretch in the hips, leg, lower back. Sink in and do its magic with your connective tissue. Finding whatever else you can soften. I'm going to take 6 more breaths here. And beginning to let go of that leg, letting the leg go long. Letting the arms maybe come above the head if that feels good. Letting a long stretch with the arms in between. Letting the arms come alongside the body. Taking a breath here before we draw the other leg in. Repositioning the block if you need to, or the cushion. Sending the opposite leg long, and the long leg can now come in, gently bending that knee, maybe interlacing the fingers. As you gently sink into this pose here, finding the stillness, once you're comfortable and you've adjusted, feeling your shoulder blades sinking into the mat, releasing a little bit of pressure with the arms, allowing the least amount of muscle strength to happen here, letting gravity release that connective tissue. Coming into stillness now, breathing here. I'll mind the time while you relax here. Growing quiet. Becoming comfortable with whatever comes up, staying here, breathing through the mild to moderate stretch. We'll take 6 more breaths here. Taking this silent retreat into yourself, becoming more of your authentic self as you allow stillness into your life. 2 more breaths. And beginning to release your hold on your knee, letting that leg go long. Releasing the cushion, bolster, block, or book out from underneath you. Letting the legs stretch out long, releasing the arms, maybe above the head for a stretch in opposite directions, legs and hands. And bringing the arms around, bringing one knee into the chest and the other. Maybe there's a gentle squeeze here, or maybe that doesn't feel good for you. Maybe just a drawing in of the knees as we rock from side to side, if that feels good. Really tuning into what you need in between these poses, but moving slowly, keeping that meditative kind of a trance you've created for yourself here. One more breath here. And then gently rolling over, finding your block or your cushion one more time as we get ready for our last pose here before Savasana, supported bridge pose. So letting yourself sink down, maybe holding the backs of your knees as you come down again. Finding that bolster, block, or book underneath your tailbone, that flat part of your back. Coming into supported bridge pose here. Now you can let that block be any height underneath you, or bolster. Maybe you need a little more. You can turn that block to another height or bolster. You can add another pillow or blanket. As we let the legs release out to the side, arms can come alongside the body. Now I have my block on a little higher of a height. I'm letting my legs release out to the side, and I'm finding that feels good. So I'm gently going to compare the other height and see if that's too much on my muscles or too much of a stretch. So I'm noticing that supported bridge on this level of my block is best, so I'm going to keep it there. Notice how I'm using my feedback from my body to determine what I need. I'm widening my knees a little bit. And I'm coming onto the soles of my feet. And I'm gently taking some breaths here, finding this feels good for myself here. As I let my back of my neck and skull release down into the mat, feeling my feet supported by the earth. As I gently find stillness in supported bridge pose. And taking some longer breaths here as I become more still. Another suggestion is to use an eye mask if it feels good, letting it allow the eyes to close, a little bit of heaviness on the eyes. I'm not using one, but I wanted to let you know that that's another option for you to sink deeper in this yin supported bridge pose. And I'm going to become quiet now as you take another minute in this pose, letting you have some silence here. We'll take 5 more breaths here, continuing to breathe. Beautiful. And then allowing the eyes to float open if they were closed. Feeling for your cushion, block, or bolster. Lifting up gently your pelvis as you remove your cushion. Sending the knees into the body, rolling maybe from side to side a little. You can also take the backs of the thighs and roll forward a little and back. That feels good. Massaging the back. Allowing one leg to stretch out on the mat and the other. Arms can come overhead, stretching. Or gently gathering the knees in one last time. Maybe some gentle movement. And then getting ready for Savasana, our last pose. Finding your bolster, cushion, or mat, or blocks. Putting your cushion or your mat or a couple mats rolled up even under your knees as you gently come back down, finding yourself a nice space here to breathe. You can take a blanket or two and maybe put it across your belly or your pelvis for some grounding. You can put on an eye mask if that feels good. Letting your head gently relax down into the mat. Supported by your cushion or blanket under your knees. And then taking some final breaths here in Shavasana, letting everything go, giving yourself permission to be here and now as you breathe. We'll take about 10 to 15 breaths here. And if you need longer, please pause the video and give yourself that time as you sink into silence here. Letting the body grow heavy. Coming into stillness. Breathing evenly into that belly, sending the clean, fresh air, oxygen into that body with every breath. Feet and ankles relax, releasing tension from your legs and knees and hips. Letting the back, the shoulders, arms, and hands release. Neck, head, face, relax. Taking 6 more breaths here. to float open as you bring awareness back into your body. Removing the blanket or the weight or cushion that you may have placed on yourself. Moving the bolster. Sending the knees in towards the chest, any amount, maybe a gentle squeeze in towards the body. As you take a couple breaths in, waking up the spine and the hips. Moving in gentle ankle circles with the feet. Rolling one way and then the other direction. Flexing and pointing the feet. Letting the arms come overhead for a stretch. Inhaling and exhaling here. Arms come around. And gently letting the knees drop to one side. Arms make a pillow for your head. Having gratitude for the energy it took to take this practice today. And gently bringing one hand, pressing into one palm as you gently push yourself up. Head comes up last. Letting the legs come in, gentle cross of the legs. Taking a moment to ground yourself here, inhaling the arms up, reaching them up and out of the waist, exhaling them down to the heart. Thank you all for practicing with me today in this Yin Yoga practice. The light and the teacher in me honors the light and teacher in all of you. Namaste. Thank you all for coming today and meeting me here on the mat. Yin Yoga practice is so good for your body. If anything, it lets you come into stillness in a meditative state where you just allow whatever feelings, physical or emotional, to come up and gently be okay with whatever is. It's good practice for off the mat too. So thank you all again, and I just want to let you know that if you feel this video would help someone, share it with someone. Like it if you thought it was a good practice, and leave some comments for me in the comments section. Let me know what worked for you and just how you felt doing this practice. I enjoy hearing what you need also. Maybe there's another practice of yoga that you'd like to see. So thank you all again for coming. I appreciate you. And Yoda says goodbye. It was funny, as I was practicing today, I could hear him breathing, and he got into his deep breath here, which really helped me get into mine. So I don't know if you have a furry critter at home that you could practice with, maybe a kitty or a dog. It really makes a difference to have someone practicing with you. And again, thank you all for coming, and I'll see you next time.